Are Walt Disney World's most popular rides worth the hype?
Hey there, Mam Fam. We are at the most magical place on Earth to ride the most popular attractions at Magic Kingdom and EPCOT.
Today, we are going to let you know if these rides are worth the long lines and the hassle, or if you can skip them on your next Walt Disney World vacation. And bonus, for my Disneyland friends, we're going to let you know if you should prioritize these attractions that you have on both coasts.
All right, we got a lot to do. Let's get started. All right, first up, we are headed to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This attraction is part coaster, part dark ride, and takes you through the mines with the Seven Dwarfs from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It has some very cool animatronics as well. It has a 38-inch height requirement and is a fancy ride, meaning that if you would like to skip the line for this attraction, you have to pay an individual lightning lane cost. Last year, the average wait time for this attraction was 76 minutes, and today the standby wait time is 60, so I'm really happy we have a lightning lane. All right, is that worth the hype?
Every time I ride it, I say yes. It's one I don't ride often because of long line and, fancy ride, but every time I ride it, I have a great time. I think the animatronics are fun, the dark scene is fun, the way the cars move is very fun, so I love that ride.
And I'd also say that if you are a frequent Disneyland goer and you're coming to the East Coast, you should want to ride this ride. I will say, maybe not if the queue is at 90 minutes or more, I wouldn't necessarily wait that long, but if you're able to get a fancy ride for it, it's worth the ride.
It's one of the very few rides in this park that does not have a direct counterpart in Disneyland Park, which makes it, I think, more of a priority if you're coming from the happiest place on Earth. But yeah, that ride's a banger.
Yeah. And the Queen of the End, a nightmare.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. I'm going to have nightmares about that.
Scooting into Adventureland now and making our way to my favorite attraction in the park, Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the most popular and well-known Disney attractions worldwide, and it opened up here in 1973 after the demand from guests who had seen it in Disneyland insisted it be here as well. This is a family-friendly boat ride, no height requirement, but I often say it's a perfect example of a Disney attraction because everybody can enjoy it. A boat is an iconic Disney vehicle, and you've got a little thrill with the drop and the up-to-no-good pirates, but it's also ultimately a good time for everyone. According to the data, Pirates of the Caribbean last year had an average wait of 29 minutes, which is significantly lower than anything else you're going to see today, but don't take that to mean it's not popular. Pirates of the Caribbean has one of the highest ride occupancies as well as one of the fastest load and unload times of any attraction, which is why it's able to maintain its popularity and keep its wait relatively low. That's not to say it doesn't often get up to 45 minutes or an hour, because I see it there quite a bit. And we will be using a lightning lane today, frankly, because I booked it in advance, and why not? Because we have it.
I offer for these hearty heads, everyone an egg layer. The treasure map and the key as well.
Yeah, you should ride that.
It's iconic. It's a classic. The family behind us was singing along. It's nostalgia. It's like an icon Disney attraction. Unless
you're from Disneyland.
Yours is way better. It's almost twice as long. You get 2 drops. You have more scenes than ours does. So I do not think this is a priority if you're a Disneylander. But anybody else, did you even go to Magic Kingdom if you never had Pirates of the Caribbean?
I'd say no. Up next, we are headed on Tianas Bayou Adventure, the newest ride in the park that takes you on a journey as Tiana begins to prepare for a joyful celebration. And your job, help find the band that's going to play. This attraction has a 40-inch height requirement. And I should note this is a Tier 1 Lightning Lane attraction, and it does get scooped up very fast. So if you want to ride this attraction, make sure you're getting in early and selecting it as soon as you possibly can. Last year's average wait time doesn't exist because Tianas Bayou Adventure ran on a virtual queue. This year, however, it does not. It has changed to a standby queue, and the average wait time to date is 66 minutes. Today, though, I just watched that wait time change to 65 minutes, so I'm very happy we have a lightning lane for this attraction.
Anyone down here who can blow a horn and jam? How long can I go?
How'd you do?
Wet.
How wet?
Damn.
Well, the hat really.
All right, well, we sat in the back, so we did not get that wet, luckily.
Back, definitely a slightly worse view going down the drop than throughout the attraction, but I will take not getting wet over the better view any day.
Is it a must ride, though?
It is a very cute attraction. I will stand 10 toes and say that, even though I don't personally care for water rides. I think the music's fun. The animatronics are very, very good.
Is it worth waiting 80 to 90 minutes for?
I don't want to wait in any queue for 80 to 90 minutes. I think if you can get a lightning lane, or it is, this morning I wrote it for a different video, spoiler alert, and it was less than 20 minutes in standby. So in that case, absolutely. But, and I do think it should be a top priority when you're booking those lightning lanes. Yeah. However, if you're not able to get one, or you don't want to get wet, perhaps more classic attractions should rank higher on your list, like Haunted Mansion, Pirates.
I would agree. Now, all that said, if you are a Disneyland goer and you don't want to get it, I'm quoting here, unreasonably wet, then yeah, this is going to be the version of Tianas Bayou Adventure for you, because over on the West Coast, it's a deluge.
It's a sopping amount of water. I will probably never ride Tianas Bayou Adventure in Disneyland ever again because of how wet we got. I do think that version is slightly better because of the proportion and the size of the attraction itself, but it's not so different that you shouldn't ride it here if you don't want to get wet. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Long story short, great ride, adorable. Find a way to get on it without waiting 90 minutes, but if that's your only option,
there are other things.
Yeah. Alan?
Yes.
Before we move on, I do have an important question.
Okay.
We've been lucky enough to ride this ride a couple times now.
That's correct.
Who's your favorite critter musician?
Critter musician is Rufus the Turtle on the harmonica. Mm-hmm. However, I am sad you didn't ask me who my favorite critter is, because that's Larry.
The one-eyed
armadillo.
Yeah, sure, I get
Larry's supremacy in this house.
Yeah.
But who's your favorite critter musician?
It's got to be Sebastian, the little bear cub.
Oh, baby bear cub
and
on the drums.
He's just shaking his little tush.
Yeah.
Looks like he wants a hug.
It's fair enough. Still Larry supremacy, though.
Disney, make a Larry plush, please, we beg. Next up would be Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. However, as you can see, it is currently closed for refurbishment. In fact, it will be closed for the remainder of the year, doing a huge overhaul of this attraction, but that doesn't mean it didn't crack our list last year of most popular rides in Walt Disney World. Now, it only had a 40-minute average wait for 2024, but again, much like Pirates of the Caribbean, it has a very high occupancy and pretty quick load and unload process. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a runaway train roller coaster with a 40-inch height requirement, and here's the wildest ride in the wilderness, especially if you sit towards the back, which is definitely the best row in my opinion. Obviously, it's very popular. We wouldn't be talking about it today. It's definitely a step up from something like the Barnstormer or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but not as intense as Space Mountain or Tron. It's a really great family coaster and a classic, iconic Disney staple. And since we cannot ride it today, please enjoy this supercut of times we've enjoyed it in the past.
Oh, memories.
Memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is it worth it? Yes, of course it is. It is a relatively easy. The train's here. It's a relatively easy. Not this train.
Yeah.
The other train.
There's many trains.
So many trains. Now, it is a relatively easy lightning lane to pull, and the wait time doesn't get super long. Would I wait over an hour for this attraction?
Probably not. That would mean it's a really, really busy day if this attraction's over an hour. But this one's so fun. It's nostalgic. It's a good time. It's lovely. You should definitely ride Big Thunder Mountain.
100%. And Disneylanders, you have the same thing.
You have a better one, actually, because you have Dynamite Goat.
It's true, who definitely doesn't reach an early demise.
You also, the explosion scene is better on the current Disneyland version. Are they going to update this version to include more things? We don't know. But I don't think you need to prioritize this over things more unique to Magic Kingdom. However, if it has a low weight or it's an easy lightning lane for you to pull, who doesn't love a spin on Big Thunder?
Why not? Up next, we are headed to Peter Pan's Flight. This is an incredibly popular, incredibly nostalgic attraction for a lot of folks. In fact, last year, its average wait time was 57 minutes, and today's standby wait is 70. It takes you in a flying pirate ship on the story of Peter Pan and has no height requirement. It is fun for all heights and ages. I, for one, am very happy we have a lightning lane. I've been saying that a lot. It's a common refrain today. So we're going to go ahead and hop on and take our flight. And if you're thinking to yourself, how, gosh darn it, how do they get all those lightning lanes? What do they know about the system that I might not? Well, don't worry, friends. We have a lightning lane guide that Molly has published and put out that tells you everything you need to know about how to use Disney's multi-pass system.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
Goodbye, Nana.
Okay, Peter Pan's Flight.
Here's the thing. Do I love it? Yes. Do I have a lot of nostalgia for it? Yes. Did I just use a lightning lane and bypass a 70-minute queue? Also, yes.
I'm just here to say, if you don't have a lot of nostalgia for Peter Pan, then you don't need to ride that attraction. One of the reasons that attraction has an incredibly long wait time very consistently is because it is fueled by folks who have a lot of love for Peter Pan and that entire franchise. Would I wait 70 minutes for it?
No.
No.
And I have a lot of nostalgia for this attraction specifically. I would even say, even if you love Peter Pan but don't have nostalgia for the ride, you don't need to ride it.
I would agree.
Now, if you're able to pull a lightning lane for it, absolutely ride it. I did a rope drop this morning. I rode it in under 30 minutes. Absolutely ride it. Late at night, extended hours. Yes, yes, yes. Do it. It's lovely. But I would never stand in a 70-minute queue for it, and I wouldn't recommend you do either. I think there's other things you can prioritize.
I would agree. And that also applies to our Disneyland friends. One of the main differences between our Peter Pan's Flight and the Peter Pan's Flight out in Disneyland is, well, ours has lightning lane.
Ours also has the conveyor belt load system, which does mean you get the pixie dust from the cast members, which I do like.
And that's cute, but not enough reason to ride it here.
The only other main difference is ours does have the updated native Neverlandian scene, which I hope they get out at Disneyland at some point. But truly, if you ride this one a lot in Disneyland, you can skip a year. Next up, friends, we are headed to what is probably the most iconic Disney attraction in the world. Certainly the one with the biggest cult following. You've probably guessed it. We're headed to the Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion opened here, opening day 1971, but it's been delighting guests around the world since it's opened in Disneyland in 1969. Haunted Mansion doesn't have a height requirement. It's a family attraction, and you're going to board a doom buggy as you visit a haunted manor full of 999 happy haunts. Last year, Haunted Mansion had a 41-minute average wait, but it right now has a 90-minute wait, so I am once again glad to go through the lightning lane. I will say Haunted Mansion is considered a Tier 2 attraction when it comes to multipass. Tier 2 on the charts, Tier 1 in our hearts, much like Pirates of the Caribbean. So it does make it a relatively easy lightning lane to pull, and absolutely my recommendation for your pre-booking window as far as Tier 2s go. Now again, 41's not near as long as some of the other rides on our list, but that once again is attributed to how quickly this attraction can typically load and unload. It is an omni-mover system, meaning it's continuously moving, meaning it should never stop unless they have to for guests. So you could be loading and unload simultaneously at all times, but occasionally they do have to pause it for guests that need a little bit longer or wheelchair guests. So that may be while you're on the ride you feel a pause. It's usually just that, and it'll start back up again.
Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination?
Marble busts of the greatest ghostwriter.
Send us a message from somewhere beyond.
Yeah, that ride's amazing. You should ride it.
You should ride it.
100%.
I feel the same way about Pirates, which is, did you even go to Magic Kingdom if you don't ride Haunted Mansion?
Arguably no. Arguably no. Now listen, this ride maintains a pretty reasonable wait time. Would I wait 90 minutes for the Haunted Mansion? Probably not. But it's an easy lightning lane to pull, so I'd prioritize getting one of those.
Or know that 90 minutes is very high for this attraction. No, it'll be much lower in the morning or in the afternoons, evenings. It's going to fluctuate a lot more than some of the other e-ticket rides here, so you can usually catch it 45 minutes, 30 minutes, or less at some point throughout the day. So absolutely Haunted Mansion, a must-do, no questions asked. And I do think that is also for our Disneyland friends. This is the better version of the mansion. Some of the scenes that they couldn't fit into Haunted Mansion there and are part of the queue are actually part of the ride here. Our stretch room is better. And now that we have Hatbox Ghost, forgetting the fact that
Regardless of where
in a
he's
ridiculous place, that was the best thing about your mansion.
Yeah.
Ours is better. Obviously, Holiday is a different.
Yeah, Holiday's an entirely different animal.
But yeah, Haunted Mansion, everyone should ride it.
Should prioritize. Next up, we are headed to Space Mountain to blast off on a journey through space. One that will give you a slight back adjustment, but a journey through space nonetheless. This attraction has a 44, that is 4.4-inch height requirement, and last year had an average wait time of 49 minutes. Today, as we approach, the standby line has an 85-minute wait, so very long today. Now, I should note, you are not allowed to film on Space Mountain, so we'll be showing you footage from years past when you were allowed, because cool kids follow the rules.
I love it.
Yeah, that is a fun, not at all gentle experience as you rocket through space. Is it a must ride?
Yes. Space Mountain, as long as you are in health conditions that would allow you to get jostled about in such a way. Read, fellow over 30-year-olds, it may hurt a little bit, but honestly worth it. I think it's so fun. It's another one that is fueled by nostalgia for me, but I think even if you end up waiting in a longer line, which please don't wait in an 85-minute queue, it's not that hard of a lightning lane to pull. It's a longer attraction, it's fun, it's thrilling. I think Space Mountain's a must-do. It's an iconic Disney attraction.
I agree. I will say that if you are a Disneyland fan and you have only ridden your Space Mountain before, do not expect that same level of smoothness. Expect something more in line with, the Matterhorn in terms of how you feel.
But yes, it is definitely a little shake you about, a little rough and tumble, but I can't help but giggle every time. I love Space Mountain. We don't have to go too far for our next stop, which is Tron Light Cycle Run, another of the newest attractions here in the Magic Kingdom, which of course inevitably means it's very popular. It's also very popular because it is the most thrilling attraction in the Magic Kingdom. This is a coaster where you're going to jump on a motorcycle, a light cycle if you will, and head to the grid. Tron Light Cycle Run has a 48, that's 4 8-inch height requirement, which does make it the tallest in the park. It is also a fancy ride, meaning if you want to skip the very long line, you're going to need to purchase this one individually, which I did for us a week ago because technically Alan and I are resort guests today because of a different event. Now, this attraction did operate on virtual queue for a lot of last year, so we don't have a full year's worth of data. However, the amount we could pull, the average wait was 152 minutes. It's dropped down a little bit since then. It's right now 90 minutes, which is pretty standard for this attraction. So I'm going to give you my best recommendation, which is to buy the fancy ride here. It is not a cool queue that you're going to miss. If you go in the lightning lane, you get to see the coolest part of the queue, and it normally has clearly a very long wait. Also note, there's no filming on this attraction either. You're going to have to put your belongings into a locker prior to boarding and then pick it up on the way out midway through the queue. So when the time comes, you will get to see some professionally shot Disney footage of this ride. Two more things I got to note about this attraction. Number one, it is much cooler at night. So if you are booking that fancy ride and you plan on being in this park in the evening, I highly recommend riding this one after dark because the whole grid is lit up. The bikes look awesome. It's way, way more fun. And two, it has a very unusual seat. Straight out of Shanghai Disneyland, you are going to be leaning forward on a light cycle with a kind of unusual back and leg restraint that cannot accommodate all body types. So I highly recommend, if you're worried, take a look at the test seat on the outside of the attraction up here. Make sure you're going to be comfortable with it. If you're not, there are standard roller coaster seats on the backs of certain trains. Just let a cast member know and they'll be more than happy to help you out.
We find ourselves in the same spot once more to talk about another futuristic themed coaster.
Tron Light Cycle Run, I don't think it's worth a 90-minute wait because it's about a 70-second coaster. However, it's a good time, and every time I ride it, similar to Mine Train, I go, that was fun.
It is a great time, and it only exists here in Walt Disney World and Shanghai Disney. So if you're able to get the fancy ride, or if you just happen to hop in the queue and it's not well over 60 minutes, it's a good time.
A good time to ride this attraction is last thing at night if you are staying till the park close, or if you're doing extended hours as a deluxe or DVC guest, or an after hours event. Honestly, after hours events, bang, it would make a lot of these attractions very easily accessible, so consider that. But I think this is a very fun attraction, and like Alan said, for our Disneylanders, this is not available. Anything like this is not available in Disneyland, so unless you've been to Shanghai, I think this is a must ride.
Now for our final attraction before heading over to EPCOT, the Jungle Cruise. World famous for being, well, world famous. This attraction holds a whole lot of nostalgia for a whole lot of people. This opening day boat ride that takes you through a whole host of different jungles led by your ever-reliable skipper had an average wait time of 52 minutes last year, and today has a standby wait time of 65 minutes. Now, that extended wait time is for a couple of reasons. One, nostalgia, like I mentioned earlier. And two, it has a very slow load and unload time as you have to hop in and out of those delightful, certainly waterproof, float-worthy vessels that will take you on a very short tour across many jungles.
Really quick, okay? No standing up at any time. Parents watch your kids, I don't want to. Kids watch your parents, don't trust them. And no eating or drinking. And just like that, we made it to the Amazon rainforest. Man, we better keep on going here along the Congo River. And it looks like, oh, look at that. We have a snake over there hanging on a tree. H-I-S-S-I-N-G. This kind of snake starts with the letter P. Anybody know what it's called?
Python.
Plastic, right, plastic. Do you guys know the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Outlaws are wanted. All those rocks. That is so many rocks. Wow, I think it's pretty plain to see. I took a crash course. I'm just winging it. My career has not taken off yet. That's a plane. All right, well, that makes trying to contact you regarding your car's extended warranty.
I really do love that attraction, but I also have a lot of nostalgia for the Jungle Cruise, and I love objectively lame puns.
Also, your skipper can really make or break the cruise. I've had fine skippers and I've had incredible skippers, so there is some variability there.
All that being said, should you ride the Jungle Cruise?
If you have nostalgia for it, if you like bad jokes, and if you're able to easily get a lightning lane, it's another tier 1, then absolutely. If you have no nostalgia for this attraction, if you don't care about the backside of water,
If you think it's going to be a thrill ride.
or a technological marvel,
No.
no. So I think of the classics, like I would lump this in the same category as Pirates and Mansion. I think those are much more of a priority for your average guest. However, if you get to do the Jungle Cruise, whether it be because you're able to easily grab a lightning lane or it somehow has a lower weight, it doesn't usually, then, it's a
Yeah, give it a
classic.
ride. However, if you are a Disneyland goer,
I think ours is better.
you have piranhas.
We have a temple.
So, yeah, check this one out. But now, we must away to Epcot. Oh, nice. I didn't even plan that.
Not
Yeah.
even plan
All
that.
right,
That's amazing.
bye.
All right, we have made it into our second park of the video, Epcot, where we have 4 attractions on our list, and we are headed to the newest of them.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind takes you on a journey back in time to the Big Bang so you can save the galaxy. It has a 42-inch high requirement and is a first-of-its-kind Omni coaster. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty dope. Now, the data for this attraction is only from this year because, just like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Guardians of the Galaxy very recently switched to having a standby queue. It didn't have one before. It was a virtual queue, and then, of course, its fancy ride status. All that said, the average wait time for the year to date thus far is 79 minutes. Today, it has a 50-minute wait, which actually isn't that bad if you look at it comparatively. We, however, have purchased a fancy ride today, but I will say it is nice that the standby queue is open because now you get to choose to go and wait in that queue whenever you want to, as opposed to the virtual queue callback system. One of the really fun parts of this attraction is that you never know which of the 6 songs you are going to get, and that really does impact the whole vibe of the ride. Hey, Moss,
Yeah.
what song do you think we're gonna get?
I've been in a conga craving mood. I've wanted conga, and I haven't heard it in a while.
I still want Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby.
Always.
Always.
Greetings, Terrans. I am Nova Prime Irani Rayan. It is our desire to share this wondrous technology with your people so that together we might explore new worlds.
What do we think of that? That thing's gotta be worth a fortune.
I am Groot.
I need to alert Nova Prime.
I have been watching Terrans for years.
That's not creepy at all.
Unless we cannot stop this unusual large. Of course it is about time. Wait, but not for long.
Bangs. Bangs.
Yeah, must ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For everyone. First of all, very important, we got One Way or Another, which was not the song either of us predicted,
Correct.
but is the first song I ever got on the ride, and I think you too.
It is the first song I
And
ever
Max,
got.
so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That ride's awesome. It is unlike any other Disney ride in the world, so if you're coming from Disneyland or another park, definitely make this a priority. It is absolutely the best ride in Epcot and
sure.
one of the best rides in Walt Disney World.
Absolute must ride. On the way out, listen to Wake Me Up Before You Go. And I know you've shared this secret before, but the songs you hear as you exit Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind are songs that they tested on the attraction that didn't vibe. I gotta tell you, Wake Me Up Before You Go is, I'd love to hear that.
Also, does anyone else specifically think of Zoolander anytime they hear that song? That's
Yes.
all I can think about.
A gasoline fight, 100%.
As you do with the boys. Anyway, Guardians, amazing. It's only downhill from here in Epcot.
It really is.
Bonjour. We have made it to France.
Talk about that Duolingo paying off.
Yeah. Did that sound better? We've made it to France, where we are going to do the second Epcot attraction on our list, Remys Ratatouille Adventure. This is the second newest ride here in Epcot, back in the French Pavilion, where they expanded to add this whole new section in 2021. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is incredibly popular. The average wait time last year was 68 minutes. It's also often the first multi-pass lightning lane at this park to sell out. However, they did recently add a single rider line, which we've never tried before. So we're going to try that and not wait in a 50-minute standby queue. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is an import direct from Disneyland Paris. It is the same ride, and you are going to shrink down to the size of a rat and go through Gusteau's kitchen with Remy and all of your friends. All of your rat friends.
Wow.
I mean, they're my
I have
friends.
so many rat friends.
Emil and I are definitely friends. We bond over our love of cheese. It has no height requirement. It is a perfect family ride. However, I do need to tell you it is in 3D, which might make some people motion sick. However, it is moving through practical sets, which in my case does help, and I don't tend to get motion sick on this attraction. Single rider, for those unfamiliar, well, this used to be the lightning lane, but now it's a single rider line. How interesting. Is a line that is available at certain attractions, and basically you are going to fill in where there are leftover extra seats. So you are going to be split up from your party most likely. However, on many attractions, it does make the wait much shorter because you're just filling in as needed. And again, we've never done single rider here. It's a somewhat new addition here. Normally I'm doing lightning lane, if I'm being honest. But I do like that the single rider line is still going to get to see Gusteau's rooftop right here, where if you stay here long enough, you may just catch a little magic.
Voilà. Venez. Suivez-moi, je vous prie.
Pour le repas idéal, en commun? Non. A simple one? Too simple. Il va aussi me falloir rapidement 4 ratatouilles pour la carte. Hey! Thanks for coming, everyone. Vous serez toujours les bienvenus chez Rémy. À bientôt et bon appétit.
That ride really is so cute. I come off smiling every time.
It's adorable. I do think it's a must ride. And honestly, the single rider line wasn't very long at all. What, 4 minutes that we waited for that?
Single rider line here is very effective, much like a test track, because the rows are in threes and people tend to come in even numbers. It tends to be groups of 2 or 4, so then they're filling in those odd spots. We ended up in the same little rat car, which was great.
Doesn't always happen, but it was nice for us.
But if you are not buying multi-pass here or you aren't able to pull Remy, single rider is a good option as well. I do think it's a must ride for most people, unless you go to Disneyland Paris a lot, in which case it's the same ride, so you may not want to prioritize it, but it is cute.
Up next, we are headed to Frozen Ever After. This attraction has no height requirement, and you join some of your favorite friends from Frozen as you head to Elsa's castle for a summer snow day. It really is a delightful boat attraction in the back of Norway. And it is also incredibly popular. Last year, the average wait time was 65 minutes for this attraction. Now, Frozen Ever After and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure run out of lightning lanes the fastest here at EPCOT, so you're often having to choose between which of these attractions you would like to ride if you want to use a lightning lane. And its current wait time, 55 minutes at standby.
Anna saved her sister with an unselfish act of true love.
First time in forever. I really know this song. 'Cause for the first time in
That is a cute attraction.
It's a very cute attraction. The music's great. I love Let It Go, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
What a daring take that is, Molly.
Brave of me to say.
What
I know not, millions of people have downloaded that album.
When I think about whether or not this is a must ride, something that you have to ride, or do you skip it, if you are a big fan of the Frozen story, if there are littles in your family who are big fans of the Frozen story, then yeah, of course you should be riding this ride. If it comes down to having to ride this or Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, my first recommendation is going to be make the selection based upon whichever IP is more important to you. But objectively, the ride technology that is on Remy is just more immersive and better, in my opinion, than Frozen.
If you are from Disneyland, there's not a Frozen ride there, so it's definitely something unique and different. If you're from Japan watching this, your ride's way better.
Maybe you don't have to ride this if you're from Japan.
But I agree. I think that a lot of people love Frozen, and it's a wonderful ride, and it makes me smile just like Remy does. But in this park, a lot of people are here to focus on eating and drinking, and you maybe aren't buying multi-pass, or maybe you don't want to deal with trying to get both Remy's and Frozen, in which case, both are great, but I think you could pick one or the other and have a great day. And we're headed into the Land Pavilion for our last ride here at EPCOT. You might have been able to predict it. It is everyone's mom's favorite ride, Saurin Around the World. This has a 40-inch height requirement, and it simulates hang gliding over famous monuments and landmarks around the world, such as the Pyramids of Giza, the Savannas of Africa, the Taj Mahal, the Eiffel Tower, and more. Now, this attraction, like all of them today, is incredibly popular, although the wait time doesn't get quite as long as the other rides we've done in this park. The average wait time last year was 40 minutes. I often see it as low as 10, but you can see it over 60 as well on a busy day. It has to do with the high capacity of the ride, and while it takes a little bit longer to load and unload, you get so many guests in at a time that they're able to keep that wait time a little bit lower. It also makes it a much easier lightning lane to get. Most people are going for Remy or Frozen. Again, oftentimes you don't even need a lightning lane, which is great. And today, only a 10-minute wait. So we have a lightning lane because, why not? We paid for it, but you wouldn't have even needed one here today.
Saurin's a classic.
It bangs. It's so good. It is the most relaxing, luxuriating ride. It's just beautiful, and the music's amazing.
The smells are nice.
It's just a lovely attraction. So for most people, Saurin is a must-do, which makes me happy that it doesn't usually have that long of a wait, or it's very easy to get a lightning lane for.
I will say that if you are a Disneyland person or a frequent Disneyland goer, then maybe you don't need to ride this one. You've got it over there, and a couple months out of the year, you also get Saurin over California.
Which is excellent. So, Saurin's a crowd pleaser. It's a fan favorite, and I definitely think it should be on most people's must-do list.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the start of this Ride or Skip series here on the East Coast.
So it turns out these attractions at Magic Kingdom and Epcot are popular for a reason. And while everyone may not be on everybody's list, you have to prioritize things when you're coming to these parks. Hopefully this was a good look at what attractions your family might like to enjoy.
All that said, there were some attractions that I think didn't make the list that we might prioritize. Malls, what are some of yours?
People Mover over in Magic Kingdom, Spaceship Earth here. Those are two of my favorite kind of filler rides. Buzz
Living
Lightyear.
with the Land?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Also shares the Land Pavilion with Saurin. So good.
So there's definitely attractions that are good fillers that you can do in between these attractions that are going to have the longer waits. And I love that. I love that there's these big e-ticket popular attractions, and then you've got your fun little filler rides in between.
But all that being said, stay tuned because we are also going to be doing an edition of this at Disney's Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom.
And if you want to see a version at Universal Orlando, let us know that as well.
But until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, follow us on all of our socials, and come join us on Discord. We would love to have you there. Links for all that are down below.
Check out the Mammoth Club Patreon for behind-the-scenes content and more. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has been truly magical.
It's been.
Bye.
Bye.